Yeah. I hope my beginning interlude was not so offensive. Well, it definitely would not have been as offensive as the original recording that I recorded for WrestleMania. I was trying to be as calm as I could. Now, I haven't been watching WWE a lot, but I've watched a bit of it this week because I thought, okay, I'll do a podcast this week. It might come out every 2 weeks, the podcast, because I've got to finish Mr. B, the book. And it's the most important thing right now, is that and other stuff in my life. But I will try and bore you a lot. And this bores me and depresses me that I have to even cover this. Well, I don't have to, but you know, is to review Raw on the 13th of May, which cage match gave it an 8.7. That's crazy. I mean, 8.7. I don't know about that. Yeah. Is that just going off the 4 matches? Because you only had 4 matches on the show. I was gonna review Backlash, but I can't because too much time and too much content. I only do like 4 parts. The show. So I won't be able to do that till next week. I thought Backlash was actually better than I expected it, especially the opening match, and the final 2 matches were, to be honest, for me, they weren't as bad as I thought they were going to be, coming off a really dire WrestleMania. WrestleMania where Triple H just talks for nearly 2 hours and then he gets a wax of himself. And then he goes on interviews saying that, which is true about the internet fans, because you shouldn't listen to the internet fans at all, because they make up a very small number of your demographic. But what you do with the fans, in my opinion, is you don't cave into the fans as sorts as they did for WrestleMania 40. You give the fans what they didn't know they wanted, like the unknown, because the best things in life come out of unknown. It's not prepared. It comes spontaneously, whether that's having sex or, having fun in general, or, doing an activity or doing well in an activity, whether it's martial arts, swimming, whatever. It all comes spontaneously. The best movies come from is you did not see that coming. So they should always try to, in wrestling terms, swerve the fans. So, the only time they need to really listen to the internet fans is when they're predicting shit. Because if someone comes out on a podcast saying, oh, this is going to happen in wrestling, this is bound to happen, then that's a good time to change the whole story and do something else. But you got to make it so whatever's the unknown comes off better than what they expected it to be. It's very hard with these sort of fans, But WrestleMania was fucking bad. And what he said about Cody, about Cody being over as a babyface, I don't think he is. Yeah, he gets big reactions from the fans, or does he? Is it piped in? And these fans are there for the experience. It's different when you go into an event. Like when I go to Old Trafford, it's a lot different from when I'm watching it on TV. I'm just sat there, chilling when I'm watching it on telly. I might analyse it a bit more. But if I'm at a fucking match, I'm fucking cheering of everything United are doing. So yeah, for the fucking fans, but it's not a house show business anymore, is it? TKO have made sure of that. They've cut house shows in half, so you've got to appeal to the television audience, which is most of your audience. But doesn't mean listen to the internet. Because no, you should never listen to the internet. All you should do is check it and see what they're predicting. And as a creator, you come up with something better that these smart mark fans didn't even think of. That's what needs to happen, in my opinion. Anyway, I'm going to do it raw, or try to do it. What do I say? I mean, CM Punk is obviously is over. You know, one of the best things, or probably the best thing on the show, because he knows how to speak and he knows how to work a proper match, unlike most of the wrestlers today. CM Punk comes out to a massive ovation. I ain't surprised, motherfucker. And he tells the world that he's pissed off. Well, I ain't surprised, motherfucker, because I'd be pissed off if I had to fucking work there every week with them corporate dick-sucking, cock-sucking motherfuckers, you know. Really, you know, I would just, you know, I couldn't do it. Even if all that money were on the line, I couldn't, day after day, just be living in such a fake. I'm not saying just WWE do it, loads of fucking corporations do it. WWE represents corporate America to the fullest. You know, and you know, people say like back in '99, like the WWF was destroying the culture and affecting kids and all that with the Attitude Era. You know, and that, and you know, people like Limp Bizkit and Eminem and stuff like that was out at the time, was really like appealing to the lowest form of society. I'm like, no, man, it was fucking entertaining, that shit. 1999 was entertaining as fuck. Now it's just cringe. Pretty much, you know, I'm not going to say every, but a lot of entertainment, movies included, that come from big studios, whether that's Netflix, Hollywood, WWE, or, you know, music in general, is fucking cringe. It's just the way I see it, and I think a lot of people see it that way. It's not the same as it was in the 90s and early 2000s and before then. It's took a turn for the worst. You know, it's because, and it's largely to do with the internet, because everyone's got a fucking opinion. It drives me mad. That's why I don't go on social media. I don't go on social media to say I'm above going on social media, because that's just bullshit. No, I'm not above social media. I don't go on social media because I don't want to. I want to protect my fucking sanity. Because if I spent a fucking day on X, I'll probably fucking end up looking to kill someone or kill my fucking self. So it's not because I'm above it, or, you know, it's because it's not good for your fucking health. Anyway, CM Punk tells the world he's pissed off, but number one with a bullet, he dramatically said. CM Punk is pissed off mostly with himself. And why is he pissed off with himself? Because he says that he should have known, because it wasn't the first time he's been stabbed in the back by that fat little snake, Paul Heyman, who basically stabbed a lot of his employees on ECW in the back. Even so much that somebody wanted to kill him when he started announcing for the WWF at the greatest WrestleMania of all time, WrestleMania 17. Somebody very high up in the ECW roster actually was planning to sneak a gun into the Houston Astrodome, walk up behind Paul Heyman. He was going to do his best not to hit JR, because JR was sat right next to him, pop him right in the head on live TV. I don't know who talked him out of it, but someone did. I won't mention his name. I think anyone knows the story will probably know who I'm talking about. So yeah, basically he's saying, basically like me when I had to pay £20, you know, on an OnlyFans thing ages ago. I mean, I was mad at myself for about a week, because I was like, how didn't I see that? Like, I've heard stories about it, but I didn't pay much attention to how fucking, just how much of a toxic fucking scammy fucking bullshit site that is, you know. It's just, you know, to me, you know, and to a lot of people, man, you know, you're not even talking to the women, man. You're talking to some guy He's probably pimping them out and abusing them. You know, it's just, you know. Yeah, so I was mad at myself for a week after because I can't believe I fell for that shit. You know. Yeah, so and I was mad at myself for watching WrestleMania because I felt like I got scammed watching that, to be honest. So CM Punk says that he can't wait to get his hands on Paul Heyman's fat fucking little Jewish neck. Sorry, I'm not anti-Semitic. I'm just saying what CM Punk said here. Okay. Obviously, Paul Heyman does act like the typical Jewish person used to act like the Rothschilds, and very rich and very powerful. Please don't cancel me. Anyway, Paul Heyman comes out saying his catchphrase. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman, and I fucked your mother. No, motherfucker, you didn't. My mother swallowed. Because you ain't my dad, motherfucker. That sounded very wrong. I can't remember what I got that off. I think Paul Heyman said that on his Hall of Fame speech or something. Some fan gave him shit. And he said, I'm glad that your mother swallowed. If you know what that means, So I wasn't your father, Anyway, CM Punk Paul Heyman starts walking down to the ring, and CM Punk comes out with a clever catchphrase here. He calls Paul Heyman Penguin. I think he's of the Kurt Russell character of Penguin, not the Penguin from the Gotham program. Which has got some truth to that. He could play Penguin, but I think Paul Heyman could play a great Penguin if they're ever going to remake that series, which is absolute classic with Kurt Russell. He fucking played that part to the gill of Penguin. And I like the other person who played Penguin, in the Gotham. Penguin was my favourite villain in the whole series of Gotham. I thought it'd be Joker, but no, it's Penguin. And actually, in the Batman universe altogether, even though, I haven't watched Batman in ages, Penguin is my favourite villain, in Batman. Anyway, so Penguin comes down to the ring with his mischievous look on his face. Obviously, he's got some fucked up trick off his sleeve, as Paul Heyman always has, in real life and in, the world of wrestling. Then Seth Rollins' music hits, and he comes out wearing some Michael Jackson shiny gold fucking velvet. I mean, not some gold silky fucking extra large gold robe, looking like a very rich hippie from the 60s or some shit like that. And behind him is a very tough looking, menacing looking guy wearing a suit, which happens to be Bron Breakker, that they've recently formed a faction after WrestleMania. Just with Seth and Bron at the moment. I don't know if other people will be joining that faction. If I was booking, I would have other people joining it. Maybe this could be the Wrestlers faction, where we don't like entertainment, we just like straight wrestling. Like I said, Owen Hart should have been booked that way in the Attitude Era, instead of being booked as the fucking Blue Blazer. He should have been booked as, when he said, enough is enough, it is time for a change. That was a great gimmick, because what he should have done with that gimmick is gone into the direction of Kurt Angle and been that wrestler's wrestler, saying, I hate these fucking squash matches and people cheering these people that can't wrestle like I can wrestle. And then we need to take this back to wrestling. That would have added something. And that would have been a great character for Owen Hart. Anyway, he says, she says, she could have done this, could have done that. Can't say that, Is what it is. So, the crowd, as usual, chant CM Punk loudly. Seth, finally, after weeks of trying to be a heel, or people thinking he's a heel, is finally kind of a full-fledged heel by now, gets booed lightly loudly, but knowing WWE, it could be piped in because the boos were a bit too loud. So CM Punk on the entranceway Seth on the entranceway says to Punk that Paul was his best friend back in the day. But CM Punk made Paul Heyman's life hell leading up to WrestleMania. I don't know what it means. How did he make his life hell? I don't fucking know what he's talking about. Seth says that he believes Punk is a trailer park trash fucking scum and hates Punk now more than he ever has. They must hate him quite a lot. Well, next thing you know, you need to be going to his house, won't you, Seth, and kidnapping his AJ or something, or, well, I'm not going to say it, because CM Punk might want to kill me. I mean, but take it there if you really hate him that much. Maybe you need to take it there. Take it to the streets, motherfucker! Anyway, Punk says to Seth will never be champion as long as Punk is standing on 2 feet. So Seth, if you really hate CM Punk, I think you should chop off his feet and send it to AJ. Because then, that will make me believe that you really, really do hate Punk. So Seth says to CM Punk that he's always bitching and always playing the victim. I don't know. Maybe a couple of years ago, maybe he was. Whatever. And then Seth says, prepare for your last word, 'cause it's the end of the world, and it still ain't got no satisfaction. So I get my nine, put it on my head, and it's stuck to the vein and the blasting, 'cause I'm wrong as a G, and I'm coming from the CPT, and then did he know, rest in peace to my homie Kato! Sorry. Anyway. So Breaker and Seth, basically, Punk calls Breaker down, basically, to the ring. And Bron Breaker, which is Steiner's nephew and Rick Steiner's son, does typical Steiner thing. What a typical wrestler should do, just walks down to the ring, doesn't look once at the crowd, just looks straight into CM Punk's eyes. The guy's intimidating, that's all I can say. He's a Steiner and he's fucking intimidating. Not just because he's a Steiner, just because he fucking looks intimidating. So, Bron comes in, takes Punk down, and starts beating on Punk. He runs towards Punk, but Punk puts a boot up as a Breaker's running to Punk, who's in the corner, to cut Breaker off. Then Seth comes into the ring. Punk double leg takes Seth down, starts grounding and pounding him. Then then Breaker starts beating on Punk a bit, and then Sammy comes out to save Punk. Breaker gets Punk in a beautiful belly-to-belly suplex, suplexing him all across the ring. Then Seth Rollins gets a chair and is about to lay waste to Punk. Then Jey Uso comes out and saves Punk as they clean house. When I saw this, I was like, I've never really seen, when I think about it, any baby faces outnumbering the heels. It's kind of supposed to be the other way around, isn't it? If I'm missing something, isn't that so? Because you want the baby faces to look strong. You want the heels to look like fucking bitches and more cowardly. Certain heels, some heels like Gunther, you want them to look unstoppable. I get that. But a baby face, you don't want baby faces to have backup. That's not a good baby face, especially if they're outnumbering the heels. So that didn't make much sense to me. So that was like, meh, whatever. They're not really adding anything to the story, to be honest. It's not making me, wonder or excited to watch, the continuation of this. I couldn't really give a shit, to be honest. So there you go. Becky Lynch cuts a promo. She's good. She's trying to be a heel, but the fans ain't going for it this time. because it's like we've seen her, they're just not going for it. So she's trying really forcibly to really get the fans to boo her. And it's kind of like a shoot, really. But, Becky's really good at what she does. It's just these times in wrestling and the whole internet crap. It's just, very hard to really, really come across as genuine, especially in the WWE. But I don't think this was a scripted promo. I think, WWE trust Becky enough. She's established enough to really get herself over the way the old wrestlers got themselves over by just shooting from the cuff. Keeping it kayfabe, but shooting from the cuff. That's the way to do it. So Becky says that she walked away from WWE because of the fans. Because of when she came back and won the title from Bianca Belair at SummerSlam. After that, there was overwhelming negative feedback online. Yeah, well, what I say is do not look at social media. Fuck that. So Becky said when she was the man in her peak, when she was on top of the world, her and the fans were in it together, which they were. Becky was like, the Rock of the women's division. She really was. She really, and I think it's 2019, 2018, she was really, really over with the fans until, she won the title. Becky says the fans turned on her when she got to the top. Oh, yeah, when she won the title, because her fans only recognize failure. That's all they have access to is failure. That kind of probably was pre-planned. The other stuff I don't think was, but I think that was pre-planned to get some heat. So she intentionally did that. Becky says that she's tired of being told who she is by the fans. I mean, that sounds just like something she said off the cuff, the way she said it. She says she doesn't give a fuck. Well, she didn't actually say that, but I said it. She said she doesn't give a fuck what the fans think. That's good. And admits she's selfish, greedy, and cutthroat and all that. Well, yeah, so am I. So is everyone, really. Just people don't admit it. So, I praise you for admitting that. To me, though, she tries to be a heel, but it's no really fault of her own. It's more with the booking, to be honest. The fucking shitty booking. But the fans don't seem to buy it. Gunther cuts a promo on Jey Uso, saying, unlike me, you're not the actual champion. Gunther says the winner of the title match on Saturday's night's main event will hand over the strap to me, the ring general Gunther, at Money in the Bank. So, does that mean you want, basically, I don't know what he means by that. Whether he means that he's guaranteed to beat whoever wins the title, it's obviously going to be Jey Uso. And, Logan Paul ain't going to beat Jey Uso, is he? Come on now. Jey looks, but I noticed something, as this promo. Jey looked fucking blown the fuck up, man. He was sweating and I'm not trying to, be judgmental, but I'm just, because I'm reviewing it, I have to say tell what I see. Like, Jay's doing this yeet stuff, which is getting pretty old in my opinion, and he's just getting himself too fucking hyped up. That, when he's cutting a promo, he's like gasping for fucking air. Like, it looks like he's fucking just ran a fucking cross country race or been in fucking hour-long Ironman match or something. It just gets annoying, the Yeet chants. They're not like the what chants, that I don't know, I just don't feel it, to be honest. What can I say? Blew me. So yeah, that's kind of it. There was 4 matches on the show. And Penta and Chad Gable had a great match. I don't know where El Gigante is. You know, people saying it's Chad Gable. It's yet to be confirmed. It went on for 11 minutes and 3 seconds. Cage match, give it a 7.2. American Made versus the War Raiders. Fucking tag team division is kind of dead in wrestling in general. But the only 2 tag teams that are worth anything that are not in WWE are and I don't watch this, but I've heard, and I have watched, FTR. I have watched some of their matches, and they are fucking good. I've got to admit, FTR are fucking good. They've got that old school feeling to them as well. The wrestlers, not AEW's wrestlers. I'm talking about Mid-South, Memphis, St. Louis, Kansas. World class, that type of wrestler. Ah, But yeah, the FTR and the Hurt Syndicate are the only 2 tag teams that got any legitimacy to them, whatsoever. AJ Styles defeated Finn Balor. He was with the Judgment Day in 17 minutes. Cage match rating, give it an 8.1. It was probably a decent match because AJ always has decent matches. Io Sky and Rhea Ripley tag team up and face Julia Mulgrulla and Roxanne Perez in 14 minutes. Cage match rating, give it an 8.2. The full show rating, give it an 8.5. Just one little fun fact is AEW Dynamite is on. Oh, we'll start with SmackDown. SmackDown on USA TV this past week got 1,406,000 views. That's not really that much. Really. I mean, as AEW Dynamite on TBS, the average views, I know they go up and down throughout the card, were 629,000 views. No, 629,000 views. Sorry. So, yeah, I mean, I think a couple of years ago there were over 1 million when, Punk was doing this thing with MJF and that. Yeah, AEW really need to step up. If I was AEW right now, man, I'd be stepping the fuck up, man. Because WWE are at a very weak point. And they're only going to get weaker, in my opinion. The WWE, the way things are going, if I was Netflix, I was seriously thinking of just fucking this deal with them. Because the views have gone down so dramatically. From 5 million to nearly below 1 million. And it's only just going to keep going down, unless they do something drastic, in my opinion. Because since they've been on Netflix, their programming, like I said, has been the worst it's ever been. So AEW really needs to start, getting themselves together, which they can do. They just need to book. Obviously, I only hear what like Cornette says about it and stuff like that. I watched AEW and years ago when they had that revolution, with the MJF versus Punk, and I watched another revolution which had a great match with Daniel Bryan and MJF. I mean, really need to get MJF back at the top, man. And I know he's doing something with the Hurt Syndicate, that a legit fucking tag team. They need to do something with that fucking Wardlow guy, man. What the fuck happened with him? Because last time I was watching AEW, he was with MJF. But he was like MJF was treating him like his lapdog or something, and Wardlow was like kind of a Goldberg type of guy, just destroyed everyone. And he looked fucking jacked. He looks like a fucking scary jack motherfucker. I don't know what happened. Like, he was supposed to be like the next big thing, and you got that fucking Nick Cage and not Nick Cage. He's the what's he called? Is it Nick Cage or that's the hardcore guy? That big guy, Brian Cage. That's the one. And Powerhouse Hobbs and Adam Cole. I like Adam Cole. I don't know what they're doing with him. Swerve is all right, I suppose. I mean, he's got something going on with Booker T, which he will not win on that one. But yeah, that Lance Archer guy, he looks like a killer. They should have done something with Aleister Black, and Rusev, but they fucking didn't. They fuck all with them. They could have done. You need to get rid of people like fucking Wheeler Yuta, Daniel Garcia, fucking Sammy Guevara, them Jungle Boy, fucking Orange Cassidy. Them people I just don't give a fuck. They just do not look like stars or wrestlers to me. They look like independent contractors. You could say that about Daniel Bryan, but Daniel Bryan is just so great at what he does. He's a great wrestler. He knows, he gets it. And the same with, John Moxley. He's fucking cringe right now, And I don't know why they've fucked up Cesaro so much, because I've always been a big fan of Cesaro's. I think he's an incredible athlete. But, this Blackpool Combat Club, or what is it called now? The fucking Death Riders. Just fuck it off, man. Chris Jericho kind of needs to retire now. Yeah, I think he's past the point where he can reinvent himself again. I mean, he's had a great career, he's a Hall of Famer. I just think, he's done enough now. It's like Sting, having a retirement match like Sting did and get it over with, Darby Allin, I like Darby Allin. He reminds me a lot of Jeff Hardy. Yeah, and Darby's got a gimmick, so no, I like Darby. Who else is there in AEW? There's FTR, the Hurt Syndicate. Edge and Christian really need to get together as a tag team and start helping the younger talent. Same with Daniel Bryan. Whether they're already doing that, I don't know. But there needs to be a booker there that knows how to write TV. Instead of fucking past wrestlers. Because I think now it's Jerry Lynn and Dean Malenko. Which that they're going to book things like a wrestling match. Because that's what AEW is. Just one big fucking wrestling match. Without any story or character or anything. But the wrestling matches do not look. They just look like a stimulated video game. Like high spot after high spot. Slap, slap, slap. Nah, it's bullshit. There's nothing like Japan. New Japan strong style was not like that. When you saw people like Vader, Stan Hansen, and Bruiser Brody, they were actually you could tell they were fucking mean-looking motherfuckers who were kicking the fuck out of you. They weren't doing anything fancy like Bruiser Brody. No, he was chasing the fucking crowd away, coming in with a fucking chair like a madman. And that boot that he did, that. I love that Japanese strong style because you feel like they're really hitting the motherfuckers. In AEW, they're just like tapping each other, man. It's ridiculous. Anyway, so that is my review for Raw. I'm going to get into, on the next part, a bit of, well, it's coming from the Hulkster himself. Well, he's starting his new wrestling company, Real Wrestling, Amateur Wrestling, with Eric Bischoff and a guy called Izzy, who was basically works with John Jones, I heard. I mean, Jones really, UFC are not just going to get off topic one little bit because I'm a big MMA fan. UFC are definitely not to blame if John Jones doesn't fight Tom Aspinall. If John Jones says he's going to fight Tom Aspinall and then doesn't, that's what will piss me off and make me look at John Jones a bit differently. Obviously, he's the greatest of all time, but I think in the back of his mind, he's questioning himself. I get it, because he's gone through nearly 20 years, like all his career, not getting beat. And really, with Tom Aspinall, man, he is fucking rapid. The guy throws down like a fucking lightweight, and he's a heavyweight. So there's a big chance that Tom could knock Jones out. I'm not saying that will happen, but there's a bigger chance more than ever that John Jones could get beaten. And I don't think he wants that. Not at this point in his life, in his career, because he's thinking it will tarnish his legacy. Which it won't do if he accepts the fight. It won't. It's if he accepts the fight and runs away from it, that's what will tarnish his legacy, in my opinion. So we'll see what happens. I want to see the fight. Tom definitely wants to see the fight. UFC wants to see the fight, so it's all in Jones's court, really, that one. And that's all I got to say about that. So the next part will be talking about Hogan in his own words from ages ago and about his future endeavours and so on. You can't have a podcast without talking about the Hulkster and his recent exploit, his recent stories, whether you believe him or not. I believe every fucking word he says. Everything. You see? Anyway.